Hi, friends. Welcome to Bright Tales, a world where stories sparkle and creativity shines.
Long ago, a poor miller lived beside a small river with his beautiful and kind-hearted daughter. Though he worked from sunrise to sunset, he dreamed of escaping poverty and becoming respected by the royal court. One day, while delivering flour to the king's castle, he overheard the courtiers praising the king's endless hunger for wealth. Hoping to impress them, the miller foolishly boasted that his daughter possessed a miraculous gift. She could spin ordinary straw into pure gold. The unbelievable claim spread through the palace within hours until it reached the king himself. Fascinated by the possibility of limitless riches, the king immediately ordered the girl to be brought before him. That very night, the frightened girl was locked inside a cold stone chamber filled from floor to ceiling with straw. A spinning wheel stood in the center, and the king gave her an impossible command. By sunrise, every piece of straw must become gold, or she would lose her life. Terrified and helpless, she burst into tears, knowing she possessed no such magical power. As midnight approached, a strange little man suddenly stepped out of the darkness. With an eerie smile, he offered to help, but nothing came without a price. Desperate to survive, she gave him the only valuable necklace she owned. Instantly, the mysterious stranger spun every bundle of straw into shining gold before disappearing without a trace. When the king saw the mountain of gold the next morning, his greed only grew stronger. Instead of setting her free, he locked her inside an even larger room overflowing with straw. Once again, the little man appeared. This time, she surrendered her late mother's ring in exchange for his help. By dawn, another room glittered with gold. But the king's greed had no limits. On the third night, he brought her into the largest chamber yet and promised that if she succeeded again, she would become his queen. When the little man returned for the third time, the girl had nothing left to offer. Smiling mysteriously, he proposed a far more dangerous bargain. If she ever became queen and had a child, she must give that child to him. Horrified, but seeing no other way to survive, she reluctantly agreed. Before sunrise, the final mountain of straw had become pure gold. Amazed by what he believed to be her magical gift, the king married the miller's daughter, making her his queen. Although she now lived in luxury, happiness came slowly. The king loved treasure more than people, and the queen often felt lonely within the magnificent palace. As time passed, however, she gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, and for the first time she truly experienced joy. She almost forgot the frightening promise she had made years before, until one silent night the little man appeared beside her child's cradle. Calmly, he reminded her that the time had come to keep her promise. The terrified queen begged him to take all the gold in the kingdom instead, but he refused. Gold meant nothing to him. Then he offered her one final chance. If she could discover his true name within 3 days, he would leave forever and never return for the child. The queen immediately sent messengers across the kingdom. They searched villages, mountains, and distant forests, collecting hundreds of unusual names. Every evening, the little man returned while she desperately guessed one name after another, but each guess only made him laugh louder. By the third day, hope seemed lost. Then, just before sunset, one exhausted messenger rushed into the palace with incredible news. Deep inside an ancient forest, he had seen a tiny man dancing around a fire while singing proudly to himself, believing no one was listening. His song revealed the secret he had hidden from the world. "Tomorrow I'll claim the young queen's child, for no one knows that Rumplestiltskin is my name." That night, the little man appeared one final time with a confident grin. He expected another failure. The queen pretended to guess a few ordinary names before calmly looking into his eyes and asking, "Or is your name Rumplestiltskin?" The little man's smile vanished instantly. His face twisted with rage as he realized his greatest secret had been discovered. Furious beyond words, he screamed, stamped the ground, and disappeared forever into the darkness, never to trouble the kingdom again. The queen held her child tightly, overwhelmed with relief. Her father deeply regretted the lie that had started everything, and never again boasted about things that were not true. The queen, wiser than ever before, raised her son to value honesty above riches, teaching him that greed and careless promises always carry a heavy price.